Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. But this time, I'm going to do a comic haul. I don't do a whole lot of comic haul videos, but this is going to be a comic haul. Because this past weekend, it's right after Thanksgiving, we had a brand new science fiction convention here in town called Galacticon, in which, so you can see some of these, in which, it basically replaces the now defunct Starfest, which we had for almost 40 years. I've forgotten how many years. Starfest ran here, and then it went away in 2022, and some people got together and started a new convention, mostly people involved in Starfest and other cons and local cons, and basically brought it back. It's with a few exceptions, basically the same thing, except that they don't have the Horror Fest, they don't have the Comic Fest, and as a result, there are damn few comics. But I tell you, they had in some comic stuff, related stuff, they did have a guest there. Ming Chen, who you might recall from Comic Book Man with Kevin Smith, the reality show from several years ago. And he's also a podcaster. He's had I Sell Comics. I guess it was both a TV show and a podcast. And Mike and Ming, the Ming and Mike Show. Another podcast. I'm not sure. When I try to look them up, they were the most recent ones were still quite some time ago. So I'm not sure if either are still in production. But fortunately, I did not get to stay for his talk because we had to leave, because it was last thing on Sunday afternoon. We had to leave about noonish, and but I did get to meet him on Friday night at his table. He was a real nice guy. Check him out. He was that's Ming Chen. He's very personable, very sweet and friendly, and we just chatted a bit. And I gave him a copy of one of my comics, and he so sweet. He offered for to have an interview, for me to do an interview with him for my channel. But unfortunately, with this piece of crap phone I got, who has to be plugged in to do anything, I just didn't have the capability. He even offered to record it himself and then send it to me, but I don't have the technology or the skills to do any editing. So, because I don't, especially with this POS phone. But just in case he happens to see this, I want to thank him so much, and give him a plug. He was a great guy. Look him up online at I think he's at mingchen.com, and or look up and check out his podcasts or his old show if it's still around. Because that was some fun stuff, and he was quite frequently the butt of the jokes, and he was so nice about that. He even had one picture of him in from an episode where he was wearing a Speedo, and it is not a flattering picture. But he's such a nice guy, and he was selling and signing those too. So Ming Chen, and we had some other stuff. but I won't talk about here. But there was only one dealer in the dealer's room selling back issue comics. There were a few creators that were selling their own stuff, and I had to stay away from that because I had recently bought some of that kind of stuff at another recent convention. So, but they had several boxes, and I had to go looking through to find the dollar ones. So I got a bunch of dollar comics, and specifically to show here and maybe feature. And so all of these, except this one, the Justice League of America, was $1. This one was $5, and which is basically cover price, because this is from just a few years ago with a cover price of $4.99, and it's a 100-page giant, which is in homage to the 100-page giants that they did it back in the 60s. And I'm anxious to read this. These have, I don't remember seeing these, but that doesn't mean anything. I wasn't buying too much then. They had a JLA story, part of an ongoing JLA story, a Wonder Woman story, a Flash story, and what was the other? Mara, wife of Aquaman. She's got a story in here too. Oh, part of a story. It's an anthology with continuing storylines. I wish at least one of them was complete. It was a complete storyline. And then I got this here, number 4 for Dracula. This was from Topps back in the 90s, an adaptation of the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, which was very great and very popular at the time. And then they did some other Draculas, but I remember having 1 or 2 issues, and I don't think I still do, but I got this, and it's still not only in this plastic, it's in the original plastic bag that that the issue came in, because it's got two cards in it, but it's only $1, and so I'll later go into it. It's drawn by Mike Mignola, written by Roy Thomas, so I'll definitely dig into it and read it, and I want to hopefully before next Halloween. And here's the only Marvel one I got, which is a Spectacular Spider-Man number 79, 60 center. And I like the extreme contrast. The shapes are all done basically by color, black and white and red, with just a hint of blue for the metallic in there, and of course the yellow and blue in the title. But yeah. It's very eye-catching, because no line works for the shapes. It's all like the figures and stuff. You see it from the negative space after the webbing and Spidey's costume and such, and the solid blacks for the blues. And then I got the first 3 issues, and I am completely unfamiliar with this series, so I want to take a look at that. Is American Vampire 1976, and I assume that there are other American Vampire stories out there. So I've got issues 1, 2, and 3. Looks like just looking through, has some interesting, some nice artwork, and we'll see how the stories goes. Then this took me for a loop, because when I saw it, I thought it was originally the Rocketeer Adventure Magazine number 1, but it's not. It's just designed to look like it. And I've never heard of this. It's called The Blue Flame. This is issues 1 and 2, and I have never heard of it. Never heard of the publisher. Called Vault. That's it. Vault. I've never heard of the publisher. Never heard of the character, but that caught my eye, so it made me want to get these 2, and we'll check that out. And then we have got a couple of issues from DC here of Batman Beyond. This is Batman Beyond number 1, and I got Batman Beyond number 36. And of course, this is when the Batman Beyond show moved over into the mainstream main DC universe sometime in the future. And this has that time period's Flash guest starring. And I take it that this is not the same Batman Beyond as the character as the TV show. That one was, of course, I've forgotten his name now. Like a generation later, and I gather, just from context, I haven't read it, so I don't know, and I might be wrong. I gather this is another generation later, with a entirely different Batman Beyond. And then we finish it up with this, which I hadn't seen before, is Batman Elseworlds Nevermore, issue 1 of 3, and I really wish it had the other 3, because I'd love to have seen those. Because Nevermore, it involves Edgar Allan Poe. It takes place during the basically Gotham by gaslight stuff, with a cover painting by Bernie Wrightson, and it's written by Len Wein. And I guess Guy Davis is the interior artist. And I wish there was more. And just thumbing through it, it looks very good. So, but we'll see. So that is all I've got here for this comic book haul from Galacticon 2023 here in Denver. And hopefully it comes back, and it is not after Thanksgiving, because they took the weekend they could get for that, and there are new cons problems, and trying to get the bugs out, because they're trying to do different versions of conventions and stuff. So that's all I've got for you. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me which books you want to look into. I plan on looking into some of these. So tell me which ones you want to see, and that's all I've got. And remember, comics are art.